loves.
Welcome to the last interview of the season for Sierra and Ryan.
Talk the talk. Sierra and Ryan Talk the Talk is all about putting book talkers like you at the center of the story.
This season, we have met some of the most incredible book talkers, found out a lot about them personally, a lot of incredible book recs. Our shelves are getting more and more packed, and we have made so many friends, deeper friendships with our friends in our heads along the way. And we have been your guides this whole time. My name is Ryan at Rye_Brary. And my friend, I
I am
can't
C.
believe this.
This is it. I am Sierra at cc.b.reading on TikTok as well. The whole reason that Ryan and I started this podcast was to get to know other book talkers, learn about what they're reading, learn about what makes them tick, and just learn about things that they enjoy overall.
Yeah, this episode, our final, we decided on a really special guest for our last interview of the season, and
Yes.
one that is so interesting and so intelligent and so complex, and that is Schizophrenic Reads,
Yes.
Nathan.
Nathan.
How? I am really, really I'm a nonfiction. I'm like I don't want to say secret. Like I'm not obsessed with it, but I just don't talk about it often. I
Mhm.
love nonfiction. I probably
Yes.
read the majority of that, and I am very excited to talk to Nathan, to meet Nathan, and
Mm.
to get all the nonfiction recs.
I am just excited for the conversation that we have. As you and I, we both follow him, obviously, right?
Yes.
And he has such, like you said, an open platform, very much like an open book about his mental health,
Yep.
about paid partnerships and things like that. So I'm really excited to dig into a full conversation. I think this will be a very important interview that we have here that
I
could
agree.
really take us to another level. So I'm excited to like just talk to him and pick his brain and
Yep.
learn more about him personally.
Yeah. Nathan
Yeah.
has shed light on a lot of different aspects of the book talk journey and all of those paid partnerships, and really making the conversation an open dialogue with
Mm.
the rest of the community. So there is a almost like a level set, fair, even playing field. Like, hey, everyone, this is what they're offering me. Is this a normal rate? With the mental health, there are very honest conversations that Nathan has had about not only just inner feelings and thoughts, but about benefits and
Mhm.
about how that affects Nathan's livelihood. And I think that those things are important conversations and fascinating, and why Nathan has a giant fandom.
I mean,
Giant.
I think I know. Nathan gives me. He really is what I would consider a leader in the book talk community. He's one that
Absolutely.
everybody across the platform knows,
Follows. Yeah.
and you kind of like go to him like when you're like even like when his thoughts on the New York Times bestseller list, which are some of my favorite videos of his, and learning so much about that whole situation. Like he's highly informed in this industry in terms of books and whatnot, whether it's nonfiction or not. So I think this is going to be an awesome interview, and I
I
can't wait to
agree.
meet him. I think he has a really nice face, so I can't wait to see that nice face.
There's so many serious topics that Nathan broaches, but every time that I swipe up, I kind of get that like squishy, I want to hug you feeling. I I'm like, hug me and tell me all about the terrible things that we have to find. I love diving into books about mental health. I'm telling you, it is. I just finished The Bell Jar, and
Yeah.
whew, whoo, whoo, whoo.
Hmm.
There was some stuff at the end I wasn't like a huge fan of, but in general, I think that those books, especially someone who has a lot of depression and anxiety issues that happen and pop up a lot, I find myself diving into books about that. And sometimes you are like, you see yourself on the page and it makes you feel less crazy in your own mind. And I
Hmm.
think that Nathan is a personification of that for so many people who might not have the capacity to get into the full book for whatever reason, but can watch that clip and feel seen and feel understood. And it's it's so cool. I'm
Yeah,
really excited.
I am too. I guess With that being said, for the last episode of the season, friend, should we prepare for a talk?
Let's talk the talk.
All right, guys, we are back. And as you can see, we have our awesome guest here. I have crowned him in my head as the king of nonfiction. Nathan from Schizophrenic Reads. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
I'm doing well. I still haven't gotten quite used to the nickname that I've been receiving. So I do use it in my Twitter bio, but that's mostly just like a joke for myself and not very serious. I did put it in my TikTok bio at one point, and I took it down within about 30 minutes. So it was, yeah, I was like, I don't know that I can live up to quite
You
this,
better
but thank
own
you.
your royalty, okay?
Yes, yes. We're talking to the king here. So I want to run down quick numbers. You have 70,000 followers on TikTok. That's insane. That is
Yeah,
insane, especially for a book account.
yeah, it's a lot, and it's happened steadily. I haven't had one of those super viral videos. It's just been like an onslaught of every day, just people joining in and stuff. So, and it's overwhelming because I think I didn't see this happening like at all, but it's cool. So I've been really enjoying it.
I think
Wow.
you're like the perfect person for this app because TikTok loves authenticity, and you are nothing but authentic when you come across the
Yep.
screen. Whether you're talking about mental health, and we'll get into all of this stuff, but people love to see themselves represented in one way or another, and just love to see people being real. So I just want to say thank you for that, and I think you having 70K goes hand in hand with you just keeping it real all of the time.
Yeah, and I mean, this is one of the reasons I like TikTok so much. Is just like I don't have to dress up. I don't have to get perfect lighting. I don't have to sound perfect every day. I say what I want to say, and I dress the way I want to dress. And like I think Instagram is like a beauty competition half the time, and I don't have the energy for that. So this is TikTok's my perfect platform. I can just hop off the couch and film for a minute, and we'll see how it goes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Nathan, you've gotten so popular that we've started to see so many incredible boxes being sent your way. The other day, I saw one that had an overwhelming amount of books in it. How are you managing the onslaught of just pure stuff coming in?
Yeah, halfway through the year, I'm going to do a video of all the books I've bought compared to all the books that I've been sent. And the books that I've been sent
Crazy.
is just it's wild. I think it's just because I'm one of the very few voices in that space, so they just kind of like look to me to hype stuff up.
Yeah.
And like at this point, I've had to let publishers know, like, yeah, you can send me something, but I can't guarantee I'm talking about it. I can't guarantee I'm talking about it in a month. Like it's just it's really cool, especially with book talk not being a economically lucrative thing. Some free books, pretty nice though.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
hell yeah.
How backed up is that queue for you? So, say you get a box, is it 6 months before you can get to that, or do you kind of pick and choose one from each?
Yeah, I mean, it just depends. I try to prioritize like what comes in. There's certain ones that I want to get to quickly, and based on like due date or not really due dates, but like release dates for certain books. Like I'll try to hit it
Mm,
around the time the book comes out, just because I think that's the best for the author, for their sake. But yeah, it's I do receive in books, like this is a total disclosure. I do receive in books and show them in a video, and I might never pick them up. Like that's just one of the realities of the situation. And
mhm.
publishers do know that. Like they know if they send me 20 books, there's no chance I'm reading all those 20 books in the next month. Like that's just not happening.
Right.
Right.
That's
So
so
you're,
true.
I guess you're managing that pretty well, because I was going to ask, are you feeling any pressure at all about like, oh man, I feel bad about this, or you're like, hey man, you guys knew what it was when you got here. Like,
um, no, yeah, I mean that's always just part of the conversation when a publisher reaches out and they're like, yeah, we want to send you 20 books. I'm like, hey, you're doing this knowing I'm not going to talk about each one of them, like, and and so when they have that information, they're like, yeah, no, it's just we like your page, we want to send you stuff. It's like, oh, okay, like
We just want to
that's
be a part of the party.
yeah,
Hell
no,
yeah.
that's nice. So
that's really
Um,
cool.
Before we cross into some deeper topics, I want to know a couple fun TikTok habits. I think we all are loving and liking and commenting and DMing you and all the whole vibe. On the other side, what is on your For You page? And then this is, we haven't asked in a while, but I'm very fascinated to know what's like your rose and thorn of TikTok? What do you immediately like? And what are you like, this is not for me? I'm swiping past so it does not mess up my algorithm.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I get a lot of educational talk, like outside of book talk. I get a lot of 3-minute history lessons and stuff like that. I'm friends with some of those like big education creators, and I really like that type of stuff. Um, the one thing I swipe past immediately, and it's kind of irrespective of whether it's a follower or a friend or whatever, is the follower parties. Like I cannot handle these videos, and
I don't like that either, Nathan.
they don't work. I mean, that's like one of the things is like that doesn't actually, it really doesn't boost your numbers. So I wish people would just be like less concerned with the numbers. And I guess I say that as kind of a little bit bigger account, but it's just more fun when you're like making the videos you want to make instead of like just chasing after a simple number.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
Agree 1,000. And most of the time when those videos come up, you don't know what their genre or you don't even
Oh yeah,
rarely
you
see
have
their
no idea
faces
who
or
they are.
anything. So it's like, who the
Yeah,
hell are
you
you?
have no
Why?
idea. Like, what do you look like? What does your voice sound like? Because it's usually a sound.
Right.
Yeah. No, I
Absolutely.
can't stand those.
Love it, love it, love it.
So I want to ask about your cat. I know you recently got a cat.
Yeah, I have two.
What?
I have two cats. One's name is Ilyich. He's our little communist. He's named after Vladimir Lenin. Um, kind of. So he's that's Ilyich, and he's a tabby. And then we have a black cat named Baggio, which we have referred to as our little Italian fascist. He is very grumpy,
Oh,
kind of mean, loves to bite you. And then Ilyich is just the most endearing, very pushy, but very cuddly. So I had a video recently where Ilyich was climbing on my bookshelves behind me, and more people were talking about that in the comments than anything I had to say. And I was talking about something like actually kind of serious, but people were obsessed with the cat, which I was like, no, that wouldn't make sense. That one's on me. I maybe should have changed how I filmed this a little bit.
There's a pipeline for books to cats. I would have one, but I'm deathly allergic to cats. But I see the
I'm allergic
appeal.
too.
Yeah, I'm
Interesting.
unbelievably allergic to cats. So I see I see
They're
I
cute
see
though.
they're
They are
so cute
cute.
though. So I want to start from the beginning. Why particularly nonfiction? Was it something that you realized took the the pressure off of what you were going through? Were you looking for a perspective?
Yeah, I mean, like
How did you
for
start?
me, I'm just like one of those people that just has like an endless supply of curiosity. So before even TikTok, nonfiction's just been where I like to spend my time. I studied history and philosophy in college, and that's just because if I'm going to do college, I want to be able to like read books. That's kind of was like, my whole mentality. So it's just always been a like fascination of mine, and I try to read some fiction here and there, but for the most part, I'm just very curious, and the way it like interacts with my illness, like I'm just kind of better prepared for my own life if I'm more grounded in like the realities of you know history and pop culture and stuff like through those types of things. So I just like it.
Yeah.
Wow. So you're using that as like a component to help you deal with your oh
Yeah,
wow.
absolutely. Reading, especially nonfiction, is 100% a coping mechanism for me, and yeah, it's a great coping mechanism because it's really calm and it's very individualistic. I don't have to like rely on others to get some source of um, I don't know, calmness in my life, and so I can just sit down with a book. But yeah, there's a lot of days that I can't read with like my mental health, but on the days that I do, I mean, I like to spend 2 or 3 4 hours just sitting there and enjoying something.
Heaven. You're so open, Nathan, and obviously we are talking to at Schizophrenic Reads. So, what made you so open and brave to be yourself, fully out there with your mental health, and tag it as like, hey, come find me for this?
Yeah. Well, before TikTok, I was a public speaker. Like I was traveling around the country talking about mental health and getting up on stages and like literally lecturing kind of about my own mental health and the mental health care system and stuff. So it was something like bringing to TikTok that I wasn't scared of. But the reason I got into it in the first place and like started an advocacy journey was literally because like I thought being silent would kill me. Like, and I know that's like deep and dark, but like that was kind of how it was. If I had to like hide away from the world and like couldn't be real with my friends and my family and that type of stuff, like it almost killed me a couple times, and it would have done it like that. Like if I just had to hide away, like there was no opportunity for me, and so I just kind of had this like fuck it attitude. Sorry, I don't know if we can swear, but that was just kind of my approach
Yeah.
to like life, and then that's what it's become, and now it's kind of become this like public persona in some way. I don't know if that's exactly the right word, but it's kind of what I do. I talk about mental health. I talk about books, and I don't know. It's fun for me at least.
So since we're here and we're on mental health, I wanted you to just go in a little bit further because I know I wanted your videos that I thought was mind opening for me was how you said mental health advocacy is kind of like a front in a sense. It's not. It really doesn't do what it's supposed to be doing. What we need to be actually looking at. And you talked about language and how we use it around mental health. Could you just kind of like expand just a little bit more
Yeah,
on
I
that?
think a lot of mental health advocacy is not particularly focused on systemic issues or materialistic issues. It's focused on things like language and like accessibility in only the broadest terms, like acceptance. Like, oh, like we want the newspaper to like not demonize people with schizophrenia. And like, yes, that's good, but also if you are locking up everyone with schizophrenia or you are keeping them destitute or killing them, like those issues kind of, to me, they're more those are more important, and that's one of the frustrating parts about advocacy is because it focuses so heavily on these kind of, in some ways, surface level problems without, we don't talk about homelessness and schizophrenia. We don't talk about incarceration and schizophrenia, and or affordable medication and therapy and healthcare. And to me, those issues, those those actually speak to like the truth of what needs to happen in both the mental health care system and the disability system.
Hmm. No.
I think the healthcare system in general, we have such an issue with being caring for sick and not trying to focus on the healthier parts of how people can be
Yeah.
healthier. And it's a lot, we all know it's wrapped in
Yes,
money.
yes,
Hey,
right.
Yes.
capitalism, so
Yeah.
fun.
Well, and that's what
But it is, it's,
that's what I've tried to do with my page is push a little bit of communism here and there and anti-capitalism and education, but also still like layer in books enough that like I can be part of book talk without having to go into just politics talk, and oh, it gets
right.
toxic
Right.
over there. So if I just
We definitely
drop a
know it.
little communist stuff in a couple of my videos, then maybe I can convert some people.
The reason that your that video particularly stood out to me is because as someone who reads particularly fiction, it's interesting to see how people put such a big importance on representation in books. And so to look at it outside of just being seen and how we're actually dealing with it was very, very interesting. As someone who has a family member who is on the autism spectrum, to the point where they can't work, I know that the government doesn't allow them to have maybe more than $1,000 in their checking
Yeah,
account,
and
so it keeps them stifled, and they can't get an apartment or they can't get a car or things
And
like
I
that.
think the reason
So,
representation matters so much is because it's a reflection of actual reality instead of just the stereotypes and the stigmas that we surround mental health with. And but the actual realities of people on any type of these disability spectrums is they are often economically poor. They are higher risk for violence and these types of things. And so the representation that we have can't just be putting uh, autistic character in a book. It has to be actually representing what an autistic life is, or actually representing what a schizophrenic life is, because just a movie that gets my symptoms right, to me that's not enough, because we have to go further. We have to go to the end of what the disabled life is like.
Yeah. Nathan, I want to ask about social media, and for me, I suffered depression and anxiety, but I have been pretty lucky on TikTok with not having a ton of, like, say, the political discord that can get kind of crazy and toxic. I'm wondering how, I'm sure that everyone is a giant fan of yours, but have you had to deal with any of the discourse of comment sections, and how is that, as social media can have a major effect on mental
Yeah.
health, period? How is that kind of
Yeah,
reflecting
I mean,
back?
I've had it as mundane as just like a nasty comment. I've also had death threats. It's a whole gamut of situations that happen when you start talking openly. I've become more comfortable with just blocking people or deleting comments, because I don't think they're healthy for discourse sometimes. And I also just try not to check my comments a lot, especially when I make these types of videos. I already
Yeah.
get, a couple thousand comments a week. So it's too much. I can't respond to everyone anyway, and I absolutely am not responding to everyone when they want to dissect parts of my life that they can't possibly fathom.
Right. Do you find that you have a lot of people coming to you for mental health advice? And does that, like, are they in your DMs? And is that also kind of a fine line that you're
Yeah,
trotting?
specifically like through Instagram, especially because I've done a lot of advocacy over there and been connected with nonprofits and uh, like national campaigns and stuff. That like I get a lot of DMs of people like asking questions about disability or asking questions about symptoms, and sometimes I can help out, and sometimes I just don't have the space to do it. And I don't know, it's hit and miss, but I'm always trying to do what I can, but yeah, it gets overwhelming sometimes.
I was going to ask if that feels like
Yeah.
exhaustive sometimes, and it's like I need my
Right.
own
Yeah.
space to work on my
Yep.
own on my own stuff, right? Wow.
I want to flip this conversation a little bit. I want to talk about Le
Oh,
Book
yeah.
James.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do that.
So what's going? Okay, so Le Book James, if I'm correct, is just a page that you were creating just to say, hey, this book made me feel like garbage, and
Yeah. Yeah, my
let's
my
discard it.
goal
Yes.
with this page, it hasn't happened quite yet, but like what my idea with it is, I'm gonna start a PO box and have people send me both a book and a note about the book and why they hated it and why it caused them harm, or why it just doesn't work for their life, and then I will basketball throw it into a trash can, and I'm gonna have to find some creative ways to do that. But yeah, I want people to know that like. Um, the whole idea that all books matter, that's horseshit. Like that's not what we should be promoting, because I like, especially in my mind, a lot of self-help, and this is where the idea started, but a lot of self-help is really toxic. It's only there, it's only written to make you a better worker and more productive in society, and not about actually taking care of yourself or your family or your emotions. It's
Uh-huh.
just can you be there to work 50 hours a week? And like to me, that's the antithesis of everything that I'm trying to speak about. So yeah, I'm going to be throwing a lot of books in trash cans, and hopefully people are participating and sending me those things and letting me, kind of play a role in people also expressing themselves in that way too.
I have a book I
It's
already
so
want to
fun.
send. I'm
Okay,
ready
yeah,
for the PO
I'll
box
try to get that
address.
running.
Seriously, like I got 25
Yeah,
books. I'm
I know
just
I've got like I've got many I can send to you.
yeah,
I'm ready. I'm
that is so
absolutely
funny.
ready. Yes.
Oh
So
my
I know that
gosh.
you are doing the Read Your Own Adventure. You are on
yes,
Team Warrior.
yeah. I am the team lead of Team Warrior, which
Uh,
is the nonfiction one. Yep.
yeah, yes. First of all, you're done, right? You've read everyone's challenge. You've
Yeah,
read
I've read everything except for the final book, which is
every.
a book that intimidates me. But yeah, I've read the other 29
Oh.
challenges this month.
Oh my
I
God.
have
Is
to
it
ask, what's
all
the
on
one that
I'm going to be
intimidates
reading
you?
The Shock Doctrine by Naomi Klein, and books intimidate me for all sorts of reasons, and this one is mostly just because it's a pretty dense 650-page book, so that alone is just
Okay.
a little bit intimidating for the length.
Is that what's the other reason why it intimidates you?
I think because I know I'll need to talk about it, and that's actually one of the hardest parts of TikTok for me is finding out ways to talk about things because um, I want to talk about them in the way that informs people and lets people know that whether they should pick up a book or not. But I also want to avoid super viral videos because it gets overwhelming. I had a couple history books that I've talked
Yeah.
about that have gotten 300, 400, 500,000 views, and it's not fun, honestly, because people just start coming after you. Um, and yeah, so I want people to know, but also I'm not trying to focus on the big numbers. I just want to talk about it in a fun way. And maybe people will pick it up.
You're such a great example of that, Nathan, and what you said earlier just about not being after the numbers, and you have had just a consistent build and a consistent following growing, and it's people that are probably constantly engaging with you, like all of us. I think now there's so few of us that see probably all of our mutuals on our For You pages. You are consistently on my following page and my For You page
Yeah,
Oh no,
every
I'm
yeah.
time. And
sorry
I
about
know
that.
it's because we have so many mutual
No.
friends.
Yeah.
No, I just know. It's like I know Mara has also liked that video, and C has also liked that video, and Johnny and so they're all like you are on there all the time, and it's so nice because it's not often that happens for all of your friends. So it's nice to see you very frequently. I think that's kind of a great thing
Yeah,
about
and
how
it's
wide your
strange because
network
I feel like
is.
there's almost been like a weird sort of like celebrity with me that like I think because the engagement's really high, but because I'm also like in a lane of my own kind of, and not that there aren't other nonfiction, but like it really seems like everyone kind of knows who I am, even if they don't like follow me or like my stuff. Like they're aware. That's what it's felt like to me, which is it's a kind of a scary thing. It's cool, but it's also like, oh boy, I know that I've got some hate followers out there. So
I'd say most are probably love. You've got such a great balance of talking
Yeah.
about such fascinating stuff, but you are so warm, and we were talking before, it's just like I just want to hug you. I don't know,
Yeah.
Nathan.
no, that's nice. I think like I have definitely noticed an uptick of people making comments of like, yeah, that book sounds like all right, but you're just like super chill, or like your vibes are good. I'm like, yeah, this is nice too. Like I don't, even if you don't want to
Yes.
read the books I suggest, like just a nice little compliment here and there. That's kind of precious.
Yeah.
Okay, question. How often are people either trying to persuade you to read fiction or are you picking it up often?
Ooh.
Because I know you're mutuals with a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
us who read fiction for the most part as a majority. So are you reading any of these or you're just
I'm
like
actually buying
letting
more than
them
I'm
go
reading,
yet?
especially with fiction. Is like I will see a video and I'm like, yeah, I gotta read that, and then I won't. That's kind of a big issue. Um, yeah, I've got to be in very particular moods to pick up fiction. There's a lot that I like, but yeah, I wish I was more of a fiction reader. Like I wish I could just like have fun and kind of relax. But like for me, my brain's just always moving and always trying to like learn something, and the hours spent in fiction kind of detract from that a little bit. So I'm gonna try to be better at it, but now I've made a name for myself in nonfiction, so I always feel weird when I pick up fiction because it's like, what is he doing? Like I don't know. Yeah,
You
yeah.
gotta flip them. You gotta keep them on their toes, Nathan.
You
You
sure
know, flip
do.
the game up. I want to ask you about the documentary that you're in called Mind Trip. So I know it was
Yeah,
recorded for Quibi.
yeah.
Rest in peace to Quibi.
Oh, poor Chrissy
I don't feel
Teigen.
that bad. Yeah, yeah.
Poor
Us,
Nathan and
yeah.
Chrissy Teigen,
We've had
y'all.
it too rough, guys.
So, give us the details. When was it recorded? How'd you feel about it?
Yeah,
And it's on
it's on
Roku, right?
Roku. It's called Mind Trip. It was filmed in 2020, like height of the pandemic. There was a ton of like COVID protocols that were happening, and so we were like trying to figure out filming locations, and we had to film some of it at my house just because like another location fell through. So yeah, there's just all sorts of stuff that went into it. It took I think 3 days to film. The first day was all interview, which was like 7 hours of sitting in a chair talking. And for anyone that watches this documentary, there's a point where it's a close up of me with like lights flashing, which was the hardest part of the whole documentary to film because I was wildly hallucinating while that was happening. And you can kind of just see like
Oh
facially, like I don't
no.
have my same expressions, but I remember standing in front of this screen that the light is reflecting on, and they were playing the movie Blade Runner, which won't be like you won't see it in the yeah. So they're playing
Visible, right,
Blade
right.
Runner in front of me and shouting out like directions to cameramen and stuff like that, and I am just like in a world of my own, and it was rough. But I mean, otherwise, it was a fun process. And yeah, I don't know. I hope hopefully the audience receives it well. I am not sad that Quibi went down because they had like I think 100,000 subscribers or something like that, and I know Roku, and I think it's going to be available for free on Roku. I think Roku has like 7 million or 10 million or something like that. So hopefully it'll go well, and hopefully some
Amazing.
people will watch it. I have no idea what it's going to do to my TikTok once it's actually released. I don't know if I'll see no growth from it or if I'll see some wild amount.
Wow.
I
Right.
really have no
A
clue how that's
lot.
going to
Yeah,
work,
yeah, yeah.
and I am anxious because it's about 5 days away or
Interesting.
something like that.
Aha. What do you
Wow.
want the
A
response
book
to
deal.
be? I
I
guess.
want
Yeah.
some. You know, I want something to come out of these types of things. I want better
Yes,
sponsorships
maybe.
or more things that I can collaborate on. You know, I want to use this to do other things. And this documentary and the public speaking I've done before, and I was part of a mental health documentary that played on like ABC a while back. So yeah, I just want there to be more
Wow.
opportunities, and not for like a sense of like chasing fame or anything like that, but more just like I feel like I want to keep talking about this stuff, and I don't know. I feel like that's sustainable for me because I like doing this way more than I ever liked just like trying to work in a library. Like, this is more fun.
Right.
Right, right. Well, you brought up sponsorships, and I'm glad because we can flip this conversation one more time. You've been, in terms of mutuals, you've been very open about taking sponsorships and getting paid for the stuff that we're doing, the work that we're doing. We're reading a lot of
Yep.
books, especially people like you who get these books, and maybe publishers expect you to read them, but they're not offering you any compensation. What's been one, the response behind that, and two, have you yourself figured out something that can help people to finally get compensated for all of the reading that they're doing for
Yeah, I
free?
mean, I feel like we're just in the very early stages of I kind of started a conversation called compensate book talkers and or book influencers in general because I think like what we do and the monetary
Uh-huh.
impact that we have on the industry is massive. And, I've heard from a couple publishers and people in particular. Like, I'm very confident that through my TikTok, I've sold well over 10,000 books, and I've not seen really any of that. And
Right.
it's not just me. Like, this is all of everyone that's doing this, the book talk stuff and Bookstagram and all that. So, yeah, I think there has to be a way for us to capitalize on that because it would be so cool if we could turn this into jobs or side hustles or whatever. Just because like we live in a pretty rough economic system that doesn't allow much freedom, and I think we deserve some portion of that. And I don't know how it's going to look, but yeah, I think that's just like one of the conversations I've tried to start. And with sponsorships, I hate sponsorships. I hate doing them. I think that's not a unique way to feel about them. So I want to find ways that we can not have to shell out, our time or energy or, um, you know, a lot of these sponsorships that we take are not things that we believe in or the things that we care about, and yet they're the only things paying. So hopefully, whatever this whole conversation evolves
Right.
into makes that not the main source of income for us.
Mhm. I just got my first
Yep.
sponsorship, paid sponsorship email, and luckily for me, it's something I've been wanting to read, so I'm cool with that. But I could only imagine being offered to read.
Yeah, I recently got offered to
God.
read a book that I just had to say no just because it conflicts with like most things I believe in, and they offered me like over
Wow.
$2,000, and I think we
Damn.
also have to start talking pretty openly about the money that we're receiving to each other, just so
I
we
love
like
that you do
that
that.
transparency
Yep.
means that
Yeah.
people can take advantage of each other's asking prices and stuff. Because I've heard a couple
I
book
love that you
talkers that have
brought that
taken
up,
like
Nathan.
$15 for a video, and it's like, hey, don't do that. Like that is a bad idea. Or they'll take
Whoa.
50 and
That
they've
is
got
bad.
30,000 followers, and it's like it's because none of us know
Right.
anything about this. We're all starting this new. We're all very new into this
Yep.
space and how these work, and I never want to see someone get taken advantage of by some mega corporation that could have paid them 10 times that. So
Your transparency is unique, and I think that it was fucking awesome, honestly.
thanks.
Like, I look, nobody's chasing me down for sponsorships, but I did look at that and I was like, that's so cool because I have so many friends that have sponsored posts, and it should be transparent. And we really, if everyone in the book talk community gets together and puts that on the table, it becomes so much more
Oh
powerful than
yeah.
just a couple people like holding some,
Oh yeah, I
it's
can't.
so,
I
so
can't
smart that you
change
did
this by
that.
making a couple videos on this. Like it has to be collective, and that's the only goal that
Yep.
I've had with starting a conversation is that other people, like people that are better at this and more suited to this, like they keep the conversation moving far past what I'm capable of.
Yeah.
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 Wow, wow,
I
wow,
love that
wow.
you bring it up because I was saying in our pre-talk before you came on that I consider you a leader in the book talk community. So
Yep.
you bring a lot of things to my attention in terms of whether it's mental health or how we get paid or the New York Times
Yeah,
bestseller
yeah.
list.
No, thank you. Yeah,
Again, I'm fairly new to learning about all of the things and ins and outs of the industry. But you talking about people can buy their way basically onto the New York
yeah.
Times bestseller list
Sure can.
blew my mind. I didn't realize that people were doing that. And I've been to events where people are like, "Oh yeah, have a book." Didn't realize they had already bought the
Oh
book
yeah.
in
Like
bulk,
when someone like
and it
Anderson
was
Cooper or Tucker Carlson or whoever, one of these news talking heads is the bestseller, it's fake. It is so fake. And they get
Bullshit.
all of
Yes.
the notoriety from being the bestseller and for people talking about their books. No one's reading their books. I mean, and the same thing's kind of true with a lot of celebrity books out there. There's a lot of celebrity books out there that have, they have, you know, 1,000 readers and they're followed on Instagram by, you know, 10 million people. And it's no one actually like cares
Yep.
to read their works. But yet they're, New York Times bestseller for 15 months. It's just fake.
Yeah, and when they like, I mean, because their publicists buy thousands and thousands of books, and Donald Trump Jr. is number one on the New York Times bestseller list because the whole RNC got a book on
Yeah.
their chairs. People go to the View, and everyone gets a book on your chair there, but it's like a bullshit.
Yep.
Nobody's reading it. It is wild. But there is another. I can't remember exactly, but there is another list that is more accurate. I
There's
was
several different lists. There's like I think it's the Washington Post maybe does their own list slightly, but the actual list that's
mm,
used by the publishing industry is I think it's called Book Scan, which is like a paid subscription that you have. I mean, it's like thousands of dollars. So only the people in the industry actually know what the real numbers are, and that's not shared publicly on any of the lists. And so there's lists that are better than the New York Times,
interesting.
but none of them are actually truly accurate.
I wonder why you can't. I wonder why that's not public
Powerful protecting the
information. Is
powerful.
there?
Hell yeah,
Damn.
capitalism, baby.
Oh my god.
Mhm.
All right.
Before we get to show and tell, I want to ask just a couple best practices for you. How, Nathan, with all of this engagement, all of this advocacy you do for not only the mental health space, but for the book talk space, thank you. What are your best like self-care best practices? What do you do to center yourself?
I take naps every day. I block off the hours from about noon to 2 or 3, and yeah, almost every day I'm taking a nap. I spend my days really quietly. I think yeah, I like to go to movies by myself. I like to just like have a time, quietly. I love spending time in my hammock, and for me, reading is self care. So, and the rest of it, I just don't take too seriously.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that.
I
That's like a
love
blue
that.
zone kind of vibe with your siestas.
Mhm.
That's a very in blue zones, people live longer, happier, healthier lives, and they
Mhm.
all of those blue zones, everything shuts down at like 2, 3. So
Yep.
that is a really Nathan's like,
Oh
I
no,
know, I
no,
wrote
no.
that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no.
I know.
That's it's like no. It's my way that I've just like I can't go. And like if I do, I'm gonna crash. I'm gonna crash for
Yeah,
days. I'm gonna crash for a month. And for me, like being at
absolutely.
least halfway consistent each day is so much better than having some big outing or something like that. Like I'm not going to a music festival. That's kind of contradictory to what I do. But if my friend wants to get coffee at their house at 9 o'clock in the morning, like I'm ready to go. I'm let's do this. Let's have a 7 hour conversation about nothing.
Love it.
I love it. So it's time for us to switch. Every episode, we ask our guests to bring something for show and tell, whether it represents them, it's a book, it could be anything off your shelves, or just you want to show us. So, Nathan, what did you
So
bring for show and tell
this
today?
is a exclusive. I've never shared this. This has never been public on my Instagram or my TikTok or anything, uh, and it it will be kind of funny. But I brought a pen, which I've kind of been playing around with. It's because when I was in
Mhm.
third grade, I failed reading. I got an F on my report card. And it turns out that I have what's called weak eyes. The eye muscles of my eyes are weak. So reading for me it can be very difficult. And so I was given not this pen, but I was given pens to practice eye
Mhm.
exercise of like strengthening my eye muscles. And so I still do like eye exercises today, but I had to go to eye therapy for like years in order to like train myself to like actually concentrate on like
Whoa.
written works. So yeah, I had this like kind of weird thing that like made me think that I was like really dumb and like didn't know how to read. And instead it was just like I would get headaches with like trying to read for more than like a minute at a time. And so
Wow.
Okay. Okay. So explain this. How before you went to therapy for your eyes, what was the process like in reading?
Right.
I'm trying to
yeah, it would just
understand
be like like when you're
this.
tired and your vision just kind of goes blurry. That would just happen to me almost immediately.
Yeah.
Like it would just be like I'm focusing and then like it's
Oh.
blurred out and then I'm focusing and
Mm,
it's blurred out and I had a really
so
tough time like
interesting.
concentrating. For me, movies were in the middle distance, but especially anything close up where I'm like really focusing is really hard on your eye muscles. Like I don't know if people that read a lot, like when they're like, "Oh, my eyes hurt," it's like, yeah, it's because your eyes are muscles. Like that's um, you're
Yeah.
you're
Wow.
overusing them, and so now, yeah, I still do eye exercises today. I know I read a lot, but I take breaks a lot. If I'm
Mhm.
feeling tired, I just don't try to make myself concentrate. Just not only for like my mental stuff, but also for literally my eyes. And I have never talked about having weak eyes before, which is such a funny thing. My partner laughs
Okay.
at this all the time. So
Can you
yeah,
show
so
us
like
some like right now
I'll
while we're
hold the
here?
pen
Should we
up,
all
and then
do?
you just like follow the very tip of it
Okay.
as it gets closer, and like keep your focus
Yeah.
on it, and then move it side to side, and then like go forward, but always try to focus like right on a single point. So yeah, once I started doing
Ah.
those,
So
Okay.
yeah, I could start
interesting.
reading for longer, and then I became a pretty big reader.
Wow. My
Yeah,
hands are
yeah,
gonna
Wow.
be so
yeah.
jacked.
No, I hope so.
So that's CrossFit Colt over there is gonna go
But
real
Yeah.
hard. Gonna be doing
Yeah.
deadlifts on your
I knew I could
eyelids.
bring a nonfiction book or some type of book here to like, give you a recommendation. But I'm like, I do that enough anyway. I think you should have something very fun
We
for your
love the
page that
personal.
no one else has ever been told about.
This
An
is
Yes,
perfect,
exclusive
yes.
for our
though.
finale. Ah!
I
So
love that,
good.
and that's just good to have anyway. Thanks.
That
No, I'm
is
serious.
Yeah.
Like that's it's really good to know. That's very very good to know.
Nathan, were you ever or are, because sometimes I am. I like glaze over sometimes, and before I know it, I see the picture vibes, but I will glaze over, and I'm probably a skimmer for sure. Like I'm sure I skip major
Yeah.
parts of shit. You know what I mean? You just kind of like get in. Do you have any of those kind of
Well, with
habits too,
fiction,
or?
I find myself skipping dialogue a lot. Just like I don't care what these characters are saying. This is not adding anything. I try not to skim a whole lot. If I'm just not enjoying something so much, yeah, then I'll start skimming. But yeah, if I start zoning out, I just gotta close the book. I gotta stop in the middle of a chapter or whatever it is and just reapproach it another time. Unless I go to
Do you
if I
like?
go to grad school, yeah, I'm gonna start skimming because that's how you gotta do it. That's how grad school works. So
Yeah, right.
Do you listen to
yeah,
audiobooks as
yeah, not as
well
often, but
as
I do.
physical?
I do like audiobooks. I like just putting it on 2x and laying down and just like having my phone on my chest and just closing my eyes
Yeah,
and just listening for a couple hours.
cool.
I love
Yeah,
that.
they're
Very
great. And if you
cool.
if you
Appreciate
if you don't use Scribd,
Me too.
which is a audiobook service, they are great. It's just like a flat fee, and then you get their whole catalog. It's so good. Yeah, so don't use Audible. Audible is
Oh,
terrible. Scribd is where
cool.
it's at.
Don't I know it?
Just talk about
Don't I
Audible.
know it?
Okay,
Don't
thank
I
you.
know
We like
it?
that. We need that. What a great show and tell.
Sure.
Thank you for sharing something personal. That was so cool.
Yeah. All right. It is
Oof.
time for us to switch to our last segment.
Yeah, yeah.
You got this,
Okay, okay,
man. These
okay.
are easy questions. It's time for some rapid fire quick wit. Ryan, you can take it away.
Nathan at Schizophrenic Reads. Are you ready for some quick wit?
Yes.
Morning, noon, or night?
Morning. Oh, so easily. I love my mornings. 6 a.m. I'm ready. I don't even have a job, but 6 a.m. I'm ready to go. Like I'm not getting up for work.
What?
I need
I
that
can't even
coffee.
do it. Favorite book growing up or your favorite book from high school?
Oh, this is so embarrassing. But the book that made me fall in love with reading is The Lovely Bones, which has
Ooh.
been
Wow.
uh,
Yeah.
a
Ooh.
huge controversy
Mm-hmm.
surrounding that one. But yeah, I read that because a girl I had a crush on in ninth grade loved it, and so I read it and actually
Yep.
really liked it. And the crush went nowhere, but my love for reading absolutely
You got
skyrocketed.
something way better
So
out of that.
This is true.
Yeah.
This
I
is
did,
true.
yes.
Look
It's
at me now.
Yes.
lifelong. I don't know where that girl's at anymore, but I love books now. So thank you.
Good. Where are you a regular?
The movie theater. I go to movies at least once a week and by
Bonus
myself.
question. What was the last movie you saw?
Okay, so I went to see Happening, which is a French film about an illegal abortion in the
Ooh.
1960s. I had to leave because I was hallucinating, which happens.
Uh,
So I've got one of those movie subscription services. So if I need to leave, I can, and that's not that big a deal. But I think the last movie I actually saw to completion was The Northman,
Mm,
which was phenomenal. Absolutely
I've
loved
heard
that
about
one.
that. I've heard about that. Celeb that's a friend in your head or a celebrity crush that you have.
Celebrity crush. I'm gonna go with Ethan Hawke and Tessa Thompson.
Tessa Thompson.
Both of
Wow, those
them. Yeah, absolutely.
are
No, very
very.
different. I
Oh my gosh,
understand.
but they're
Not
so
giving
good.
similar
Those are
vibes here.
good. Oh hell
Yes.
Have you
yeah.
watched Moon Knight on Moon? He's in Moon Knight. Ethan Hawke is in Moon Knight on
Y-
the
Yeah. It was fine. I think Ethan Hawke's done
Oh,
better
for sure.
stuff, but I did appreciate
Yeah.
it. Yeah, no, I like all like the Marvel. I watch every
Yeah.
superhero movie that
Cool.
comes out.
So
Absolutely.
cool.
Awesome.
If you could take us anywhere in the world tomorrow, where are we going?
Dublin, Ireland. Let's
Dublin.
fucking party. Let's have a good
Let's
time. But
go.
also, let's just go hang out in a park and read a book and
Yes.
Just get a nice beer
Yes.
on the patio.
I've never been to Dublin or Ireland, so I would love to go. I've always wanted to go.
That's my
Oh, that sounds
people. I need to
amazing.
go. I need to go. That's like motherland. I have
Yeah.
to.
Yes. Um, do you fall asleep to music, TV, or nothing?
Exclusively podcasts.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm a big podcast person.
Nice.
I guess people don't know because it's all books, but yeah, I listen to like 20 some podcasts every week.
Wow.
Wow,
Well, that's a hell
amazing.
of a commitment.
Like 20 different
That's
shows.
a
Like,
hell of a
yeah,
commitment.
I'm
Yeah.
dedicated. Yeah.
Love it, love it. Ooh, what is your best Halloween costume ever?
I've never really done Halloween. I grew up pretty cultishly religious, so I never really had
Okay,
Halloween.
then you're gonna have to
Oh,
come to Nashville and I am gonna dress everybody up.
It's not a far drive. I can
Come
make it. That'll be
on!
fun.
uh, what's your theme song or your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, karaoke song. These are very
Okay.
different. My go-to karaoke song is probably "Hit Me Baby One More Time" or anything Britney. Yeah.
Don't make me ask for a sample right now.
No. There'll be no sampling. You gotta catch me about like 11 o'clock at night after I've had quite the night
That'll be us
already.
after
But
some
yeah,
beers
no,
in
I
Dublin. We'll get the Britney
yes,
experience.
exactly.
Uh-huh.
No, yeah, I love Britney.
Yes.
I
I'm sorry.
yeah, it's probably not what people would assume from me, but yeah, I like to cut loose about twice a year, and that's what that
Hilarious.
involves.
Were you
I
gonna say a different
love
one for
it.
your theme song?
Yeah, my theme song is probably something like Phoebe Bridgers or Lucy Dacus or something like that. Something real
Cool,
chill.
Yeah,
cool,
I
cool.
love that.
C's gonna be on the Britney for a while. I'm gonna. This is gonna be. Welcome
Yeah,
to
you
our
know
post
it.
talk.
Oh no. Yeah, I think the last time I did karaoke, it was the only two songs I sang was "Sex on Fire" by Kings of Leon, and I did "Toxic."
Yeah,
So
I'm feeling
it
like
was
you're a
quite
good
the
singer too. You've got a
I
beautiful
know.
warmth to your voice. I feel like
I
you're
know.
you're a
I
very good
really
singer.
do.
Are you? Have you sung? Yeah, you have. Mm.
uh, yeah. I competed in my state competition for vocals, and I used to do musicals, which is not something that I talk about
What's
much.
your
But yeah, I was
favorite?
I was pretty
What's your
good.
favorite musical you've been in? Sorry, I'm going off the roll. See, but
Oh no, The Music Man. It's very
oh,
fun. I know it's kind of a really tired
that's a great one.
musical at this point, but it was very fun in
Till
high
there was
school
you.
to
Come on.
sing and dance, and I was part of the quartet, so that
Oh,
was a good time.
fun, 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 fun. I
Oh
love
my
musicals.
god, I love this. I love this.
Oh shit, it's me. Boop. How
Yes.
many books? I got distracted. I'm a former musical theater kid. How many books have you read this year?
Uh, 70, I think. I
Ooh.
think it's we're not quite done with May, but yeah, I think it's about
Wow. And
70.
how off like so this will air December, but like on a year average, how many did you read in 2021 total?
Oh, about 145 or something like that. Yeah,
Wow.
it's always about 100 or more.
That's
Very
That's
respectable,
pretty
but I also
typical.
feel like if that feels manageable. Like that's not the sometimes you hear like
Yeah,
200 a month and you're all of a sudden like, whoa.
yeah. No, I couldn't do that. I don't have the brain capacity to do the 200. There's no way.
Last question here. What was the last thing to make you smile?
I'm just having so much fun with this conversation. This is great. Yeah, no, I think this is hearing you both crack up and literally rock back in your chairs of me saying I sing Britney. Um, just it's too much. I think I've told on myself a bit more than people were expecting.
Not trying
So
to
I
trigger
can't.
you, but oh,
no,
oh,
I can't do it. I can't do
I'm
it.
a slave. Oh,
But maybe
so
when we
good.
when we all meet up for like a book talk convention at some point,
Yes.
people can find out,
Yeah.
and also probably be disappointed. I'm not like great, but I will be loud. That is,
And that's all I ask.
You know,
that's half of karaoke anyway, isn't it?
Yes.
true.
Actually, that's like 90% of karaoke.
Hit the people in the back. That's it.
Confidence, loudness.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
You
So
did it.
good.
10 quick questions. Done.
Thank you.
Woo!
Thank you.
Nathan,
Wow.
you are amazing. You are a true gem to the book talk community. I'm just so grateful for you, and I'm glad that you came on the show. Like I we'll talk after we cut. I just want to say one thank you for coming on the show and just really being open, and I really appreciate you, man. I think you're so amazing. I
Thank you
really,
so much. That
yeah,
that really means a lot.
yeah.
Agree. And for all of our watchers, listeners, this is like a scratch the surface moment. So I'm sure you all have, because we're all friends, but if you have not, at Schizophrenic Reads, dive in. It is there's so much content to take in and so many different parts and pieces that are all equally incredible and fascinating, and you have like a lovely, warm, friendly person along the way. So it's been an honor.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that.
All right, we'll say goodbye.
I was going to say, any last
Oh yeah.
places that we need people to find you outside of our TikTok at Schizophrenic Reads? Is there any other ventures that we want to? We're definitely going to
I
check out Mind Trip on Roku.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
I am working on a website that will be schizophrenicreads.com, and
Ooh,
there'll be a podcast coming soon. Well, I guess it'll be out by then, but Schizophrenic Reads the podcast.
Can't wait.
amazing!
Literally cannot
Congratulations.
wait. Yes, I'm so excited.
Thank you, Nathan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nathan is cool as shit.
I knew it. I knew. He's a
Yeah, yeah,
cool.
and lovable.
Oh
There.
my god, I want to
Uh
pinch those
huh.
little cheeks.
Oh my god, he's got dimples. My husband has big dimples. I was like, oh, you've got cute dimples under there.
I love him.
He was great. He really was
He was
fantastic.
amazing. And I think what a great way to end this season. Ah,
The warmth is real, but I honestly, I feel so like we are good friends. I feel really instantly vibed, instantly felt like comfortable, and like I've known you for a long time. And I mean, I have been following Nathan for 2.5 years or whatever it is, but that was just such a like warm friend like conversation, and no wonder Nathan says that he can talk for 7 hours about nothing with a friend, because I'm like, hell yeah, friend, like let's go down the rabbit holes, let's start.
he's so genuine and very talented. I've got my list here of things.
Of all the talents,
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. Let's start
Let's
with
start from the top.
okay, because he went to college and got history and philosophy.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. Then said he was a public speaking. He was a public speaker
Okay.
before the pandemic.
Advocate, helping the world, yes.
Absolutely. Um, I love his take on mental health advocacy. I think what he talks about it, what he says about it is so important, and for me was so eye opening because maybe we are just looking at representation as a language and not really talking about the work that needs to be done for actual change. And as someone who I'm at certain intersections, but I'm not at all the intersections, right? And so having someone explain that to me was really eye opening. And I think that when you're not a part of certain situations, you are oblivious to what's going on. And that to me is the big piece that I'm going to take away from this interview. And now I'm thinking about myself in terms of how do I move forward and make sure that I'm not just talking about things in representation in terms of language, but how am I moving forward and actually trying to make a difference for real?
The actual effect. And it's such an interesting conversation, and it's so fucking layered and deep, and it's what you brought up about your family member. It is what Nathan said about, you might get my habits or my symptoms correct, but we often see, especially in media and entertainment, that there's not the help side of that. There's not like the reality side on what the struggle pieces on those benefits, on all of those heavy things, how a lot of that care is withheld, how there are parameters placed on these people that they are really, it's none of that gets talked about. And yeah, sure, we might get a show with an autistic character and it could be written and there are the right advisors and we've got the right stuff going, but how often does that show touch on a serious matter of the healthcare behind it? And probably because people think, well, that's not something that's like, hey, entertaining and kitschy, but you know, you might have a therapy scene here or there, but often it's kind of like making light. And I feel like having the conversations about the struggles and the gaps in that care and in what is afforded and keeping people impoverished in these boxes because it is more profitable to have sick people than not. And I was just wildly impressed by that whole conversation. I think the work Nathan's doing, we probably have a very small purview on how giant the scope is of what his effect is. But we've seen a couple times on the show this season. Brianna came on here and talked about her mental health and had a really incredible conversation. I don't think that 2 years ago, before TikTok, before this podcast, I would have sat and openly said, I have depressive episodes and I suffer from anxiety. And it is sometimes like swallows you up and you don't post for a couple months and you feel like in a really dark place. And I just, having people like Brianna and having people like Nathan who show those peaks and valleys and that everyone is kind of struggling with the same shit is so, it makes you not feel like a crazy person. If I'm really on, like, it just makes you feel like we've got people, you know what I mean? Um, so I love him. I love Nathan. I just, it's, that shit is powerful. It is.
Absolutely. I mean, and I know he's like numbers, like I don't really want to, that's not a big deal, but like him being so open and honest, it correlates
Yep.
exactly with the numbers, the
And
amount
if
of people who follow him. Yeah.
if you flip that to thinking another, because I agree too. I don't think that that really has any kind of effect. But if you
Yeah.
do kind of flip it and look at the adverse, it's like that's 70,000 people who may not have seen themselves before and may not have been like had someone just talk normally about it. And like, it's not a weird thing. It's just, hey, and there's this book, this book, this book, this book, this book, that, and even just seeing how someone with schizophrenia's mind works, even if that is not your particular, you know, ailment or mental health problem, I think that it's important to see how each other kind of reacts and how we recharge. I think a lot of those self-care pieces are the same. The naps, that is real blue. Like, I actually have a Blue Zone book and it really is, it's like quality social interactions is one of these things that really make people live longer, healthier lives. Yes, like taking breaks in the middle of the day, because we're just in a society, you know, we've been having the bell ring for a long time telling us when to clock in and clock out.
And listen, I love a good middle of the day nap, honey. I'm pro. Oh, ooh. If the sun is up,
Uh-huh.
if the sun is up, I am down. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry. But I agree wholeheartedly with that. Um, let's just talk about it because it's on my mind.
Okay.
Britney Spears.
Jesus.
I know you didn't think I was gonna let it go. I know you didn't think I was gonna let it
I
go.
forgot, but I didn't even write that down because I knew you would
Oh,
remember.
oh,
That's
you
fucking
damn right.
hilarious.
Because
That is.
this is a Britney Stan
Hold on,
account.
let me just put her up here
Yeah.
now.
Yes. Thank you. The
She
queen is
needs to be
here.
represented for this
Yes, the
combo.
queen is here.
Girl, she can't.
Yes.
Wow. But also, yeah, he could sing. Nathan is a good singer, and as soon as Nathan followed up with, oh, sometimes I'll do "Sex on Fire." You know that song, right? Kings Leon blow.
I
Okay,
know they
so
do.
I was like, oh, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's like, you better. And Toxic.
To-
Oh, so
Please.
fucking good.
I am obsessed with all of this.
Yep.
I want to see it in person, so I can have a moment and be like, ah, I know him.
The karaoke, first of all, now that this is our last official interview, we can confidently say our playlist, the Sierra and Ryan season 1 playlist, which will feature everyone's selections of their theme and or karaoke songs, including us. That playlist is good.
Ooh, fire.
It is really, really, really good.
I will probably use it when I'm working out. I can't wait.
Yours still really hits me. Who's that girl?
That's my jam. That is
Gosh,
my
that's a good
jam.
one.
Nathan was
Oof.
just so good. I'm just so glad we got to talk to him. And I feel like we'll probably talk to him again in the future, but just everything about him
Yep.
is amazing. And I
So
really can't
many
wait to see the doc too, the Mind Trip doc.
Mind Trip doc on Roku. I've got is it Scribd?
Scribd.
Scribd
I didn't know it was a
for
flat.
Audible.
I
Yeah.
thought Scribd was a monthly prescription, but he said it was a flat fee, and you get access to all of their
The whole
catalog.
catalog. I like that.
I,
And it's not Amazon, The
that
Shock
part.
Doctrine, the Northman happening. There were a lot of, and now I need to go back because I gave a offline recommendation and then I got a separate Reza Aslan Prophet recommendation. I'm like, hell yes.
Yeah, he's feeding into your
Obsessive
obsessive.
compulsive problems. That's okay. I did not list that out because she's not been officially diagnosed, but I do tend to swallow myself in one topic and never come up for air, but it really soothes me to know every single detail that I possibly could. Hey.
I love you.
Look, you've gone on a whole mental health journey with me too, so you She's like, look, I wasn't an expert on mental health before this podcast. However,
I do know some things. I know a few things.
this is good. Oh, what a cool person. Okay, also, I knew you got hot and fired with that shooting them baskets of those shitty books.
You know
I
I love a
saw
good.
your cheeks and your dimple. That shit was like, ding.
Listen. I love. No one is new here. They know that I love controversy and I love mess. And whenever I can shit on a book, it's a good day. And so the fact that there's going to be a page dedicated to shitting on books that are terrible and hurtful, I've already got my suggestion.
I got a
I
couple. Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't wait to write my letter. I can't wait.
Oh
I'm
yes, because we want some notes still.
Yes, I can't wait. I'm literally over the moon about this.
I can't wait to see what everyone else sends in.
Me too.
That's a hilarious. I found that really, really hilarious. I don't know. That's so funny to me.
I think he's awesome. Yes. Oh my god, that was a great way to end our first season.
We have had a really unbelievable crop of friends come in and share themselves and their time on Saturdays. We've been doing this, and people have given a lot of time because even outside of just the normal chatting, we ask people to stay on. They have to come on a little early. There's the whole back side of it, but we are, to everyone who's come on, this has been the coolest experience, and it has really been so helpful and so unbelievable to know that we have all of these relationships that sometimes you don't realize that there is a reciprocation on the other end, and those people that you care so deeply about and have relationships with, you are also a friend in their head, and it's been
Yes.
really cool to meet as in person as we could.
Hmm. I feel like I know every one of them way more better now. And I find myself engaging more with their content now because I'm like, I know this person.
Oh, hell yeah.
We're friends for real now. Like I'm going to be going to Ireland soon, and then maybe I'll head to Tokyo. I'm going to New York. I'm going to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I know these people, so I feel really honored. I'm just ecstatic, and I'm ecstatic
I
to be a co-host friend. You're so
friend,
sweet, and I
I
love
love
you.
you. I adore you. I am so everything happens for a reason, and we were meant to come together and bring all of these other people together, and you're so right. I've been interacting more with these people, but I've also seen Sydney commenting on your videos, and like I see all of those things, or like I'll see your, because I'm sure that the algorithm is like, hey, you too.
You guys
But
hanging
I
out?
see your comments everywhere, and it just makes me feel so like we have a friend circle. It's really, and just to like really list out how deep this is: Keese, Maya, Bree. I feel like Whitney Houston right now. Oh my God! Remember in the award speech,
Yes.
Keese, Maya, Bree, Kyle, Patricia, Tori, Sydney, Brianna, Beth, Lee, Adrian, Jen, Sarah, Deeki, Sarah, Janessa, Min, Joanna, Arlen, Nathan, Johnny. Ah! We have met some of the coolest freaking people. They are so.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm impressed with all of them. I'm impressed with us.
Yes. You damn right. We did this
I'm impressed. Wait a minute. I don't have it close enough, but friend, we've come a long way.
a long way. And I know you guys who have been watching from the beginning and listening have noticed that we've gotten exponentially better since the
True.
since the first episode. And
Thank God we do have
so
such fascinating friends. As I was fumbling in our first few interviews. I even fumbled a little on the last two just because we had like a 2-week break. So I literally was like,
how do we do this again? So
honestly.
it's been great. It's been absolutely great. And I can't wait for season 2. With that being said, you guys, please make sure you are following us on our social medias. We are on TikTok at sierra.and.ryan. And we're also on YouTube at sierra.and.ryan.talktok. You can listen to us on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts. And of course, we're on YouTube. So do that. Do that thing.
And our new Disney Plus show will be airing in January of 2023. I'm manifesting. You know what I'm saying?
Fingers
We got
crossed.
some months. Yeah, we've got time.
Yeah, we do have time. You're damn right. Disney, send a check. All right.
And we had our final talk.
We did.
Wow.
We did it.
Season 1, that was one for the books.
Damn
Had to be a
right.
little corny, you know what I mean?
It's okay. I'll allow it. It's fine.
I love you, friend.
I love you. Ah,
Bye.
bye.